Hello and welcome to Coinstruct, the podcast where we look at the world of finance and cryptocurrency from a more human perspective. Today I am joined by Crypto Frog, a YouTube and Twitter personality who one might say is an influencer, but he himself resents that title. He has been pushing out great content for months now and is by far the most entertaining crypto YouTuber that I have watched. Frog is very deep into the NFT scene and has recently been pushing out some top quality calls for his followers. All are unsponsored. I have posted the link to his channels in the description below, so please head there, follow, subscribe, and support the crypto media landscape. Also, an important side note. None of the conversations between me and Frog in this podcast should be considered as financial advice. So please sit back, listen, and enjoy our conversation. Is my sound okay?
Yeah.
Good. Okay, well, welcome to the show, and thank you very much for coming on. Today is Friday, so I wonder if it's been a particularly busy week for you. For a crypto frog, a alpha leaking, Twitter influencing crypto frog.
Well, it's always a busy week. Barely a day goes by when I'm not hustling one way or the other. A lot of people might be surprised to know that I don't just do cryptocurrency. I have my own business. I have two junior frogs, so I'm a family man.
Nice.
So I'm juggling a lot of balls. But yeah, considering the amount of shit posts I put on Twitter and the YouTube videos I make that can go on for like an hour and a half, you might be under the impression that I don't have that much to do, but I am quite a busy youngish man.
Well, I'm certainly impressed. I do what sometimes I go through your Twitter and I see lots of coins that I have heard about before, but I haven't really looked into. And you seem to have quite an in-depth knowledge on all of these kind of fringe sort of coins or projects, especially NFTs. And it's something that I quite enjoy following you on Twitter, and also the videos you produce are also pretty hilarious, and the alpha is in it.
Thank you.
No, really.
Well, the thing I wanted to do, because I never watched cryptocurrency related YouTube channels, but just on the off chance one day, I started watching a couple and I was like, oh my God, like these are either A, blatant, like shill paid promotions, or B, so dry. It's like watching paint dry. So I thought, well, there might be an opportunity for someone like me to slide in there and just be like a regular person, but also not taking myself too seriously, and also not taking any paid promotions or anything like that. Just speak honestly about what I think about different projects, because I think that is the most important thing. I don't really like the term influencer. I'm just some bloke on the internet who tweets quite a bit and makes YouTube videos for a hobby. But the thing is, I just saw a kind of gap in the market, and I thought, well, why don't I try and exploit that? And to be quite frank with you, the first couple of months were a bit of a grind, but once I got over like 5,000 subscribers, I'm closing in on 7,000 subscribers now, which is awesome. And I've only been doing it for 11 months. And
That is awesome.
I actually read that the average time it takes a person to reach 1,000 subscribers is 22 months. So
Crikey.
I could very well have over 7,000 subscribers within 1 year, and hopefully I can build on that. To be honest with you, I would like to build that more and more. I have said before on Twitter that building a Twitter following when you are into cryptocurrency is not that difficult.
No.
But getting people to subscribe to your YouTube channel is because you have to show them something of value, where it's very easy for someone just to click follow. You know how it is on Twitter.
The thing that people are looking for on Twitter is they're looking for alpha or maybe some high quality memes or something similar. So you can do that on a regular basis in a quite a quick manner, and they click tweet, they click follow. But if you have a
Yeah.
YouTube, they're going there to watch a video and listen to a long form piece of content. So it's a very different
Yeah. Well,
audience.
absolutely. And the thing is, I'm the same. I'm very picky and choosy about who I choose to subscribe to on YouTube, because you don't want your feed cluttered up with a
Crap.
bunch of videos you watch one time, right? You just want to have the videos you really want to see on your phone or on your computer when you log into YouTube. Plus, a lot of people in the cryptocurrency community I I've spoken to don't even log into YouTube there, because lots of people. I mean, I like to keep anonymous. I don't want people knowing exactly who I am or what I do. But a lot of them are like that, kind of paranoid, or even that they'll just use alt tech sites, like BitChute or the other ones. I mean, the way YouTube is going right now as well. I mean, the way you have to watch your P's and Q's, even though I don't really do that, and I do get demonetized as a result of that quite a lot.
Already,
But
wow. Even at
yeah, I
a
mean,
fairly low subscriber count, I thought that was only something reserved for the higher echelons of a couple 100,000 subscribers.
no, 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 no. What I mean, and I have complained about this in some of my recent videos. I was going to go back to making pre-recorded videos, and I did for a while, but then I got an email from AdSense, which is part of Google/YouTube, saying that um, they're going to tax me like a quarter of my already meager earnings from YouTube. So until that issue is resolved and I have a clear answer on how much they're going to tax me, which is absolutely ridiculous considering the IRS in the United States are considering taxing a non-American who doesn't live in America for Americans watching their channel. It just blows my mind.
Yeah, the whole
But
taxation
but
kind of
but
issue surrounding this whole thing is very shady in my opinion. For example, especially cryptocurrency taxation, because
yeah,
I live in the I'm from the UK, right? And I opened my first account and I have my bank account in the UK. But since I've been trading cryptocurrency, I've lived outside of the UK. But if I do want to withdraw
right.
my funds, I'm going to have to send them back to the UK and pay, upwards of 25% tax on earnings that has nothing to do with the country. I didn't even use the internet that is provided in the UK. So this whole kind of
So which exchange did you set up within the UK?
my initial
Coinbase.
no, my initial one was Binance. I set that up back in 2017.
So the country you're in now, then you don't have an exchange where you can cash out in fiat.
I am in China, so absolutely not.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, well, I'm fortunate. I live in a place where cryptocurrency is tax free, and the minute any taxes come in, I'm skipping town and going to Portugal. I believe Portugal is still tax free. There are a couple of other places,
I know
but
Malta
to
is,
be
and Malta was something I was looking at. If the bull run goes to any kind of expectation, then I may look at something like Malta or Portugal as a potential destination.
well, the thing with Malta, though, I've been there before, and it's intensely dull.
It is, but I do have some friends there. I like the city. I like their language as well. It's like a
What,
mix of
Valletta?
Valletta,
Valletta?
Valletta, yes, Valletta, yes, it's fun there. Um,
But they all speak English anyway, right?
They do,
That's one thing, I
yeah,
suppose.
which is useful if that's your thing. I'm not going there for the English though. I would go there for the taxation and the sunshine, and also my friends that I went to university with.
Right. Well, it seems like all the governments are banding together these days, and if they aren't explicitly tax free, and that's the policy of the government, it's been laid out very clearly. I think it's just the way every single country is going right now, and I hear it is getting particularly bad in the United States. Hence why Binance had to make I don't know whether they've made the US version of Binance yet or
They
not,
have,
but
yes, but they've done it to completely different. Like, there's no leveraging certain other things that you can't do, and it's
right.
actually basically a separate company. I read recently a fairly damning report about how CZ and the internal US Binance team have been organizing for the past 4 or 5 years how to basically circumnavigate every single law that is applied to cryptocurrency that affects Binance, and they've essentially created a secondary company that hops around all of the legislation. And I don't know how BSC is going to fit into that, and I don't know if that's in any way.
To the benefit of their American customers.
Yes, of course, to the
Right.
benefit
Well, I
of.
mean, that's good then, isn't it?
No, it's not for the benefit of
I
the
mean,
American customers. It's in order to keep them, to allow them to operate in the US, but apparently
right.
something along the lines of they have been doing it in order to reduce the amount of tax that they pay and to pay as little into the US economy. I mean, not sure that's the direct reason, but that's an effect of it. By all their operations are paying as little as they can into the US economy, but still operating
Right.
in there, and taking funds from American users.
Well, yeah, I mean, that's just any big companies like that, isn't it? I mean, you got Apple and all those guys in Republic of Ireland dodging taxes and everything. So,
Yes, it is true.
yeah.
Speaking of big companies, I'd like to kind of get your opinion on the
Go on then.
recent kind of increase in institutions becoming investors in cryptocurrency. Uh, my big point is this: why do you think they're all buying Bitcoin and not other cryptocurrencies?
Why do I think they're only buying Bitcoin?
Yeah, well, from the published earnings, for example, Tesla is buying Bitcoin. Why would these institutions be buying Bitcoin when realistically the actual use case of Bitcoin is not applicable to any business? Like, I know a few
Well,
coins.
it's just right. Well, I mean, it's a store of value. If I know it isn't the most user friendly cryptocurrency in the world, but it is by far and away the biggest. And with this runaway inflation we're likely to see with all these stimulus packages related to the virus that's been doing the rounds for the past 14 months or so, I think that those companies are buying Bitcoin. But I think eventually, I mean, you got your institutional investors like Grayscale and all those, they're buying Ethereum. I'm sure on I mean, eventually I think it will filter down to Ethereum. I don't know whether it will go much further down than that, because I think clearly these companies like Twitter, Tesla, uh, I mean, Elon Musk, if he was advising his people at Tesla, he wouldn't say, you know, buy a load of Dogecoin, because he knows that's a meme joke currency. And I thought when he was shilling that heavily, I thought that was so irresponsible of
So
him. I actually
irresponsible, really
talked about that.
awful, really awful.
Yeah, absolutely dreadful. And I think quite a lot of newbie investors will have gotten significantly
Stung, really. They
wrecked.
deify him. They really do. And he's a smart man. He's a big business magnate, or magnet, as he likes to say.
Well,
And
he's always been a bit of a troll. I was watching some of his videos from when he was a younger man and him picking up his McLaren or something when he had his first wife. He always has had that kind of sense of humor, but I think the joke became old now. And even when he tweets about Dogecoin now, that it doesn't even move the markets like it was doing initially. Because
that
people have
initial pump
people,
was ridiculous. There was
yeah.
what,
I,
one thousand
and
percent.
I'm not ashamed to say that I rode that wave,
Yeah.
because
Also,
I could see what was happening. All of a sudden, um, he was quite clever about how he started doing it. He was just leaving like these little cookies, or little crumbs, without stating it explicitly. And then I started buying some at that point, and then I noticed that Dogecoin was trending on US Twitter, and I thought, okay, something's going on here. And then all of a sudden, he started blasting out all these tweets, all these B-list celebrities started piling in, and yeah, I rode that wave. And unlike the newbies who probably just because all that Doge to $1, that memery came around. I mean, who on God's green earth who has any idea about cryptocurrency ever thought Dogecoin was going to go to $1? But having said that, I'm absolutely positive 95% of newbies thought that there was a possibility that Dogecoin could actually go to $1 and have probably still got a bunch that they bought for 15 cents or 20 cents, however high it went up to.
Yeah, it's true. I think in coupling with the Robin Hood incident, well, the GameStop, escapade, that whole thing was around the same time, and they were seeing online all these people who have worked together as a society to beat the financial institutions and make loads of money. That was the narrative, right? And then he released these Dogecoin kind of like advertisements, and people thought that that was the next stage. They thought, oh, this is the next hype. Let's go get on it. And all these exchanges started advertising on their front pages and on their Twitters. Oh, we now have
Binance Binance were in on that too. Did you notice all the Dogecoin promotions they were running?
Yeah, they all were. And all the top exchanges were doing it, and these are the top exchanges that appeal directly to the new retail investors. So
yeah, these, as I mentioned in one of my videos, not only is that highly irresponsible, and I mean, given the power and wealth Elon Musk has, I mean, I can't see anything coming of it, but I think there should at least be an investigation into that. And also, it has another bad negative effect on cryptocurrency, because you're going to have all these people who jumped in for the first time are thinking, oh, this is cool. My money went up 50% in one day. I'm going to hold it because it's going to reach $1. Now they are financially obliterated, or whatever you'd say on 4chan biz, and they are no longer interested in cryptocurrency. They think it's all one giant scam. They are going to tell all their circle of friends, don't bother with cryptocurrency. And Elon Musk is literally pushing the biggest joke in cryptocurrency, when there are so many projects out there in cryptocurrency, in decentralized finance, that are really pushing the boundaries of what can be done in the space. But then he chooses to hit home with Dogecoin. It just really wound me up.
It's really awful. He does it. He signifies, he signals to the masses to buy Dogecoin, and then he quietly buys Bitcoin.
Yeah,
it is, he's a smart man. He knows a lot about the economy and how things work and how people work. So I don't think what he did was I mean, relatively smart, right? But I don't think he knows. I think he knows what he did would have the effect it did have. And that thing he says, he makes that comment, the most ridiculous thing is always what happens. I think I don't know if it's like, it seems like some kind of egomaniacal thing where he thinks that if he says
I think it's like,
it will come
I think he kind of has, I think he still has this kind of mind frame of like, like the kind of dorky kid at university, but also the kind of, or college or whatever, who was super smart and knew all these quotes and all that philosophy, probably majored in philosophy or something, and could rattle off a bunch of quotes to try and impress a chick at a party, at university. He still kind of seems like he has that mindset. Do you know what I mean?
I do know what you mean. Like, you watch him on stage sometimes on interviews, and he's waiting for an opportunity to like quip, to be the smart one,
Yeah, and plus the thing is as well that I think that it's just part of his thing. I mean, at the end of the day, I'm glad that people aren't just jumping in mindlessly into Dogecoin anymore. I think people have finally wised up to that. But it's a shame because it would have soured a lot of people to cryptocurrency who otherwise would have, if he was tweeting about how cool Ethereum was or something like
Right,
that,
right. He could
then
easily have done such a thing to do,
yeah,
to choose
because
a legit project.
there's no way in a million years he doesn't know a lot about Ethereum and other decent cryptocurrencies.
The thing that
Probably not like outside the top 100 market caps or anything, but he probably knows a great deal about Ethereum and how it's essential now. It's an essential part of
the
what
ecosystem,
is
yeah.
with the DeFi and with the NFTs and everything like that.
The worst part about
Whereas,
the retail investors getting stung is the ones. I think what will happen is the ones who have been stung now, who, like you said, will go back and say, to their friends, don't invest in this scam. It's all crap. They will,
yeah,
because they have access now to the channels, to the exchanges, and to the to the ecosystem of Twitter and whatnot. When and if and when the bull run really does continue to take off, they're going to sit on their hands and say no, 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 and then eventually they'll say, oh no, I have to get in, and that will probably be somewhere near the top, and then these poor bastards will be in a double cycle of being stung, and that
right.
concerns me as a genuine possibility.
Well, I mean, it's the crypto way, as
Yes.
I like to say.
Take no
I mean,
prisoners.
I've been rug pulled. I've had exchanges exit scam on me with multiple Bitcoin before.
Oh no.
So in a lot of the way, I think cryptocurrency is kind of like the school of hard knocks. You learn as you go, and the people who aren't. I don't want to be like one of these people like in it for the tech and all that kind of jazz, but and unless you are kind of interested in that side of things, and if you get burnt a couple of times, then you're just like, oh well, there's always. I always say in my videos, like cryptocurrency, the way it is right now, especially now, it's crazy. Like you miss a day or something, you miss a couple of days, you come back to Twitter, you come back to wherever you've been, and everyone's talking about stuff you've never even heard of before.
It's true.
So
So many new things all the time.
yeah, yeah, it's like buses. So that's why I never get too head up about people posting, "Oh, I hit a 20x" or blah blah blah. I mean, these kind of 20x's, a lot of them will fall by the wayside anyway. A lot of the time, they didn't actually ride it all the way up to 20x, but they just want the clout for saying that it eventually went up to 20x when they probably got out at like
5
2x
or
or
2, yeah.
right. But I also say in my videos that because I notice a lot of people they feel like down on their luck. People DM me sometimes on Twitter, and they're like, "Oh, why do I keep like missing everything? Everyone seems to be like making tons of money." I'm like, no, it's like what you're seeing on crypto Twitter is like Instagram.
It's the
It's
same
like
thing. I say the same thing to all of my
yeah,
friends. Like, you
it's
only
like
see the winners, you don't see the losers.
absolutely. It's like Dan Bilzerian's Instagram, right?
Oh,
It's
Dan
like,
Bilzerian. Yes.
or whatever his name is. I don't even use Instagram. But when he surrounds himself with all the hot chicks in the yacht and all that. But probably 90% of his time is spent alone,
Yeah.
like crying,
Probably
like
quite
thinking,
an
why is my
unhappy man. He hasn't got, where's
yeah,
my family? Where's my, my happiness?
yeah, yeah, because happiness. And also, it doesn't show him handing over like $10,000 in cash to each of those chicks that he has in his little photographs and all that.
It's true.
So it's basically, I just think crypto Twitter is a version of that.
I think the same, and I think that someone like yourself is doing a bit of a service by, for example, I saw you mentioned that you dropped your Alchemix bags the other day.
Yeah, I was pissed off.
Yeah,
I felt like I knew it was very inflationary, so I was under no illusions about that. But it just seemed like I was swimming in an ocean of whales, and the whales had no regard for the project, because I think the project itself is really good, and them just relentlessly dumping, it makes a legitimately good project in my mind look nothing more than just your run-of-the-mill pump and dump coin. And I just reached a breaking point, and I made a video about it. I do like what they're trying to do, and I saw on Twitter that they are trying to shift around how the rewards are paid out now, which is good. That they took the community, they listened to what the community had to say, because a lot of people were getting like super pissed off. But if you're a whale, I couldn't understand what they're trying to do. I mean, if what you're trying to do is scare people into panic selling, fair enough. But really, what you're doing is you're kind of damaging the reputation of the project you're deeply in.
I do think though that these people are, so you create Alchemix, for example, you create a massively high APY pool, and these whales who
Well, it isn't massively high. It isn't massively high
in terms of the fact that you can put lots. I mean, no, yes, there is obviously much higher, but it was very high, and you could gain a lot of liquidity. You could deposit a lot of liquidity and still gain a high APY, and that continued for a long time. And I understand that, like, you know, it's part of the project's ecosystem, but for me in these situations, I think whales are whales because they're ruthless and they trade to make money. You know, these guys just have their stables or whatever, they deposit, they farm it, and they're doing it at such a rate, so much quicker than everybody else in terms of absolute value, that you know, I think if I was them, I would probably be doing the same, unless I knew the people in the project, unless I was friends with them, or I really believed in their project, I would be dumping the same. So it was nice to see that you came out and said to people, look, we're being sold on, I'm going to sell. Because I actually saw a tweet, no, a message from someone, and it made a lot of sense to me. And he said, all these people worrying about not getting onto, to finding the right Twitter influencers. He said, the majority of the time when you see a tweet about a project, that's because they want someone to provide their exit liquidity. They need someone to buy it so they can dump. And it makes a lot of sense.
No, and I think the thing, like, I've been on this journey with crypto Twitter, like starting out. I mean, I was in crypto long before I even started doing crypto Twitter, but starting out, it's exciting when you start collecting some followers, and then certain point around like 5,000 followers, people are like, you feel like people are hanging on your every word, and then it really is tempting. You can see people fall into the trap every time. Like, once you reach a certain amount of followers, then your DMs are getting constantly hit up with projects saying, can you shill? And they will pay an absolute fortune for you to put out, say, 3 tweets, like thousands of dollars.
Yeah, it's crazy.
And it really is. But the thing I find is, you can see, once you have an idea of how the game works, you can see straight through the people that are doing that. Even now, because I mean, I can see which projects are DMing me and who's actually taking their money. But even before that, you can easily see, you can see by the almost synchronized mass shilling of a certain project. That is an instant red flag for me on crypto Twitter.
I think the most
a lot of these
the most kind of
a lot of these.
Yeah, you go.
No, it's just instantly, because I know that I've received messages saying to me, like, you know, we'll get you a good price. We'll make sure you're on the whitelist for the pre-sale. You know, we're going to list at this certain price. And then when we list, could you put out some tweets and let's make it go 10x or something like that?
Yeah.
When in reality, it may very well go 10x, but then it's going to fall flat as a pancake. But the fact is, it's just, the project itself is just not worth talking about. So what I'm trying to say, the point I'm trying to make is, I think reputation, I think at a certain point, people realize if they're smart anyway, that having some degree of reputation and having some morals, that's when people start to like, adapt or become more mature on crypto Twitter. Because if you notice, I don't know whether you noticed this before, but very, very rarely will you see a big account like Not So Fast or Crypto Dog or someone like that tweet about a project with like a sub $1 million market cap or a sub $5 million market cap. Because the minute they do, that project will 3, 4, 5, 10x in next to no time.
Yeah.
But the thing is, they know that if they do that, there is also a large portion of the Twitter community that will attack them for shilling it. So even if secretly they quite like this project, they refuse to tweet about it. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, I do. It becomes attached to the person. You know, if Crypto Dog tweeted about something that was sub 1 million, it would become Crypto Dog's project. You know, it would become his thing. The thing you said about reputation is actually really prescient, I think. So I work as a moderator for 3 projects for Harvest Finance, 88 MPH, and DRC, Digital Reserve Currency. And these 3 projects are, from my opinion, rather coincidentally, they're all kind of interested in organic marketing, organic growth mainly. So Harvest Finance does have paid marketing, but it is in general much more organic, much more community based, and it isn't really in any way in your face shilling, look at us, we're going to 10x. It's just based on humble facts about the product, about the protocol, and working with people for it. We've had offers from
Harvest is farm, is it?
Yes, Harvest is the farm token, is the reward token for Harvest Finance.
Right. Okay.
88 MPH is the same. They are, rather than paying for marketing, we've only been doing partnerships with kind of artists, for example, NFT artists. There's lots of great NFTs from 88 MPH. Other projects such as Boring DAO or Harvest also, mutual marketing like that. And DRC is also fully organic. And the reputation thing, I think, is when you try to build something from organic methods, growth is so much slower than if you use these other methods such as Twitter influencers. And a really good example of that is the paid network token that was recently exploited. This, for me, is just an encapsulation of this whole conversation. I saw Twitter influencers, some people who previously I thought were pretty good. I sort of respected their opinion. I don't really follow so many of these guys' shout-outs, but I did look into their projects. I saw paid network, and for something about it, I just didn't really like, and I never got into it, and it went huge, and I still just didn't get in. And then, obviously I don't know if you saw the details of it. They said that the minting function of the contract had been removed in a previous audit, and obviously it had not been removed, and they minted something like $61 million worth of paid tokens and sold them on the market. The price went from about $3 at the time of the exploit to a bottom of 12 cents. Now,
but now they're coming back.
It's crazy. This is the craziest part. So their CEO.
But now they're coming back.
That's what I'm saying. I know. This is the most insane part. Is now I checked today. The price is $2.15. A 10x since the bottom, and all that. That comes from what? I had a look. Ivan on Tech has made a video and has been tweeting out about paid network. And I went, when the exploit happened, I went on to Kyle Chase or Chassis. He's the CEO, and he. I mean, I don't like to judge a book by its cover, but he just looks like a snake oil salesman. He just looks like
I mean, he looks like he works like out of a PC room in Thailand, which
he does. No, he does work out of a PC room in Thailand.
It wouldn't surprise me if he did, but he's based in Koh Phangan or whatever.
Yeah,
I always joke about that. The fact that the location of paid network is Koh Phangan, Thailand, like it's one of the tech capitals of the world or something like that.
He's certainly having a lot of fun, I'm sure. But like,
Yeah.
and when the hack happened, he made a video. Right, I don't know if you've seen the video. It's about 30 seconds long, and he's talking into his camera.
I did.
All right, and
Yeah.
it just made me feel so uncomfortable. It really made me feel quite upset because you look through. Okay, so the video, for people who don't know, is he's basically saying, "We will get through this together, and we as the paid community, we will make it right for the people who have been affected." The whole video is just so false. He's looking off camera all the time. He's definitely reading from a script. There's no real emotion, no real, any kind of intent in his voice. It's just really fake and really unpleasant to watch. But the worst part is the comments below. And there's hundreds of people, young people, people who have pictures of their children in the photos, their bios are crypto investor, making money from crypto, all these things. And they're just, thank you so much, Kyle, for your belief. Kyle, you look tired. Go get some rest. The paid family will always be here. And it was just, so many people were they're just hopium, as they say, right? They're taking that good hopium, just hoping that it will come back. And, it actually has come back. And through the power of
I think
marketing.
That's a good way. Yeah, I think that's the way of filtering out people that you follow in regards to cryptocurrency as well, because you can go back and search for I know lots of people were like mass deleting all their paid network shills upon news of this. So what's your theory then? I know we can only say allegedly, but it seems to me allegedly like it was an inside job. Do you think that guy actually had something to do with it?
I think I completely think that it was an inside job. The fact that they said during the audit that the minting function was removed. By the way, a minting function is a basic, obvious, critical failure in an audit process. And the fact that it was obviously it was
who audited?
Good question.
What was the company?
I don't know. But I think, for example, Certic, Certic is a very popular auditing company. And I've personally seen 3 hacks that Certic had audited. Like Certic audits mean nothing, it's just a rubber stamp saying, yes, it's fine.
Yeah, I saw someone post a funny GIF or GIF or whatever you call them, but you ever see that security guard outside like a football/soccer stadium doing the rub down, and then this is the equivalent of a Certic audit, where he's basically just not even touching them, just like
waves his hands over them like metal detector hands sort of thing. That is hilarious, that video. Very few things actually make me laugh out loud, but when I saw that, it was hilarious. I think a lot of these auditing companies, I don't know. I wish that someone would make a list of actual trustworthy ones, because a lot of them are so sketchy that I think there have been cases before where the actual team themselves probably weren't involved in the rug pull or the minting a bunch of coins or whatever. I think there are auditors that go through the code. They know what they're doing, and they'll say, "Oh, this looks perfectly fine," but then they'll be the one that does the rugging. They'll sell the information to a hacker who will then
or even just do it themselves.
Or do it themselves. Yeah. I mean, that's the thing. This hack audits in general for me have always been a very difficult thing, because so the people you want to hire to look at your code really is the top hackers. The people who are made for exploiting these things. These people who know how to exploit code are the ones you want to look at your code. But the problem is once they have that information, how do you trust them not to exploit your code when so much money is at stake and everybody is anonymous and Tornado Cash exists? Really, the repercussions are pretty minimal. It's a very dangerous procedure, I think. But people need it.
Have you ever been rugged yourself?
I have been rugged a couple times. I think it's a badge of honor in many ways.
How How much did you get rugged for?
Luckily, not so much.
What's the most? What's the most you've been rugged for?
About $500-600.
Jesus, you're a novice. You're a novice.
Hey, when I started in my rug
I
pull
think,
days, my capital still isn't high. I'll be honest, I'm still not a whale, but certainly I was playing around in the Defi summer with small money, like BSC is now, right? But back on
right.
Ethereum, the OG rug pull season.
Yeah. Yeah. Well, I think my biggest rug was like 20 Ethereum.
Oh no.
I think I've been rugged like maybe 5 times on Ethereum, and I think I've been rugged like once on Binance Smart Chain. I've given up on Binance Smart Chain now, unless I did say I made a video that I was bidding farewell to Binance Smart Chain. I just think that is not pushing the DeFi space forward at all. It's just a rehash of like these high APY farms that don't do anything apart from pump out insane amount of pointless tokens that will go to zero within like
Days.
a couple of days.
Yeah, I did watch that video, and I thought you made a very, very interesting comment, which I've actually used a few times now since watching your video, about the BSC Binance Smart Chain being a sort of training ground, the training wheels before you learn to graduate to riding a bike on the Ethereum blockchain.
I think that is the one advantage of it. That's what I was saying to a friend of mine who recently got into cryptocurrency, and he was playing around with yield farming on Ethereum. I think he was in Badger, and he got in just before it took a bit of a tank, and he was, because you have to unstake it, then you have to withdraw it, then you have to take it out of the Uniswap pool, and he was just like complaining about how much
it's like $500 worth of gas. That would be, yeah.
No, it was like insane amount of gas, and he only had like $800 in Badger anyway.
Oh goodness.
So I think that is the way that you can just mess around, basically. I won't say risk-free, but you can make transactions and get used to the process for when you're ready to move on to Ethereum, which 99.9% of the quality DeFi projects are and will continue to be.
Yeah. One thing that was really, I have really mixed opinions on this, and I would like to hear yours. So Binance Smart Chain is, for quick analysis, a Ropsten test network, Ethereum test network that they manipulated into a open network, and has, I think it's 22 decentralized servers, but they are all run by Binance Corporation.
Yes, it's centralized.
It's a fully centralized blockchain, yeah. So that's, in lots of ways, I hate it and I don't trust it.
That's why he calls it C DeFi.
Centralized DeFi, yeah, that makes sense.
Yeah.
But one thing that did happen just recently was there was the biggest rug pull on Binance Smart Chain, which was Meerkat Finance, and they rugged $21 million. And everyone was saying, "Oh, it's the end of the Binance Smart Chain." But what CZ did was, or whoever, what they did was closed the Binance bridge, and apparently, according to a friend of mine who's very clued up on these things, Binance had his IP address, and they had reliably had the information to track who and where he was. So they obviously reached out to him and said, you're going to prison or worse for a long time unless you give us the money back. And never before have I seen it. The tweet where he said, "Oh, this was just a test to show everybody the dangers of DeFi on the blockchain." Crazy.
Yeah. But that's the problem that CZ faces, because I mean, it was interesting to see when there was some questionable projects going up on Binance Smart Chain, where the theory was it might have been some Ethereum maxis messing around.
Oh, Tanks and the other even worse one. Yeah, those two were grim.
Which was the other one? No, which was the first one you mentioned there?
Tanks. Did you know that one?
tanks, as in the army uses tanks?
Yeah, so they made the full name of the token was Tanks of Tiananmen. So you know the Tiananmen Square
Oh,
incident
right.
in
Yeah,
China.
yeah, yeah.
Within the code on, on BSC scan, in the coding bit, the beginning kind of section was a big story. Just the what happened on that day, which is obviously, I don't know if you know, it's completely banned. All information and all, completely banned in China. You can't access any information about it. So it
Yeah.
was embedded on the code, which you can see on BSC scan, which is used by a
But the thing
large
was,
portion of Chinese people.
but they never actually. I mean, the former one, the S Finance, shall we
Yes,
say, leave it
yes,
there.
leave it
That
there.
actually had that actually had like a fully functioning website. Whereas, as far as I know, the tanks one never actually got that far, did it?
It was actually it was a non website. I don't know how to say that. A non website token. It was, you could mint it through direct interaction with the contract, and if you transferred it to another wallet, then a small portion of it it was like a 10% chance that half of your tokens would go to another random person, and there was just some kind of gamifying aspect to it
Right.
where it incentivized you to hold it and to send a portion of it in order
So,
to
so
propagate.
did it? Is it still there? Or did it get pulled?
Do you know? I don't know. I know I actually was sent some of the token, so I have it in my wallet. But if you don't tell anyone, because I live in China, so that's doubly doubly bad. But I know you can't sell it on Pancake, which is obviously adopted by Binance. So I'm sure there are some exchanges maybe that will sell it, but I don't know the price, and I haven't bothered to look because I doubt it.
Well, you should be careful. I mean, so some random person sent them to you.
Yes. No. Someone I know.
Yes. Someone you know. Okay. Because there are those dusting attacks. It's like a malicious way of they'll send you a small amount of a token just so you wonder what it is, try and sell it or something. It's a way of identifying your wallet. I can't remember exactly what they label it.
I think it is
But whenever I
dusting, what they
find
call it. Yeah.
yeah, yeah. Whenever I scroll through and see a token I never bought myself. Yeah, just if I were to ever give any financial advice, it would just be just to ignore it.
Just ignore it. Yeah. No, the reason it was sent to me is because we saw it. A little group of my friends. We saw it on CT, and they said, they know where I live, so they thought it would be funny to send me some, and I.
Right.
It was quite funny. I understand that. So, I'd like to ask you on the subject of decentralized BSC. What is your kind of opinion on the concept of decentralization in crypto?
Well, I mean, Ethereum is decentralized as far as I mean, there are tokens floating around that are 20 times more offensive than than anything that's ever appeared on Binance Smart Chain, and they're still floating in cyberspace. So, as far as I can tell, Ethereum has it on a lock. I think all these pretenders coming along, I don't get all this hate for Cardano. I think like Charles Hodgkinson's heart is in the right place, but I don't think he's ever going to. I don't think it's his aim to topple Ethereum. I think Ethereum has a lock on the entire market. I think Avalanche, they have a good chance. All these other ones that, not the C DeFi, but they are kind of decentralized. But then there was a thing with Avalanche that they had to roll back the or it missed a block or something like that, and people started freaking out. I think Avalanche and those still have some teething problems, although I'm pretty sure that will do quite well.
What do you think of
Um,
Matic, Polygon?
I think that I mean I look at them and I appreciate the fact that they are trying to do the actual version of DeFi properly and in a way that's quicker and faster than Ethereum. But the problem is, I think I have played around with Pangolin on Avalanche, but once I think a lot of people in cryptocurrency are just kind of set in their own ways. I think it will take something quite monumental for any of these, like Matic or Avalanche or Cardano or any of them, to actually. I mean, Polkadot. I don't know. I'm not entirely sure how decentralized that is. Um, I just think Ethereum has a lock on the game. To
Yeah,
be frank.
I do agree. I think the L2 solutions have a good idea in the sense that they're not trying to compete with Ethereum, they're just trying to complement Ethereum. Avalanche, I don't have much Avalanche. I do have some Pangolin. I also agree that Pangolin is a very strong project.
I never ever knew there was such like this turf war between Zero and Pangolin until I made a video on Pangolin.
Do you know,
Have
I've
you?
never been exposed to that turf war. Is it really strong?
Oh my goodness! It's it's like to give you a football reference. It's like Glasgow Celtic versus Glasgow Rangers.
Yes.
They literally are so dug in, and they fire like FUD. They're like dug into their trenches, and then they constantly trying to FUD each other's projects. They literally they're two very different camps set in their own ways. And when I made the video on Pangolin, I just got flooded with comments from people who were like, "Oh, thanks for making the video," and then all the Zero gang came in, like saying, "Oh, Pangolin's rubbish. Zero's 10 times better," and all this kind of stuff. And then the Pangolin guys come back with, "Oh, the Zero contract, something doesn't check out. I think it could be exploited." Like this, it's just like, whoa, what did I get into
Well,
here?
actually.
Yeah, it was like there's all this subculture of these layer two solutions. They're all battling it out individually, Avalanche versus Matic and all those kind of guys. But within those, there are also these little sub turf wars that are just below the surface that uh, no one really notices unless they stick their toe in, and then boom, it's like a piranha.
Yeah.
You got like 5 piranhas on your toe.
These communities are so strong. I wonder why. I mean, obviously money's involved, right? So money brings out people's strongest emotions in many ways, but they are such strong communities. It is a turf war, and it's not just Pangolin and QuickSwap on Matic, for example, which also you should try and take a look at. It's very good. It's not like these things.
So what do I? Is it like setting up Binance Smart Chain and Avalanche on your MetaMask? You just have to follow the thing and put Matic Network on your MetaMask. And
Yeah,
then
so
you can
Matic
use...
is about as simple as Binance is in terms of bridging. I find Avalanche was a bit more complex because you had to use the Avalanche wallet, which also was a bit complex with the C chain and the X chain. Matic is just a direct port, a direct bridge from Ethereum to Matic network. QuickSwap is again similar as Pangolin. It's just a straight up clone of Uniswap, but it's the Matic. I don't think it's officially endorsed, but it's the one that they recommend to us as projects to get involved with. They're also doing incentivized.
It's funny because if you go onto Avalanche's official YouTube, the only exchange they talk about on their official YouTube is Pangolin, whereas Zero, I think, does a lot more volume than Pangolin. But I think Avalanche kind of have given their tacit endorsement towards Pangolin. In a way,
there's an interesting metric to look at some of these projects that take in large amounts of funds.
So Matic have done the same thing with QuickSwap. Essentially,
yes,
essentially. They've said if out of how many other exchanges run on that network, then?
Do you know? I'm not even sure. I think the vast majority of the funds. It's quite early in Matic, I think, still. Although they went up like 50% today. But
So speed wise, then is it similar to Binance Smart Chain, and fee wise, it's very cheap as well?
So speed wise, it's about as fast as Binance Smart Chain. It's not as fast as Avalanche, which is instant, incredibly fast. It's
I
cheaper.
was bowled. I was bowled over
It's so quick. It's
by
crazy.
how fast that Avalanche, swapping coins on Pangolin was. I was bowled over.
However, it is a bit more expensive than I expected.
Binance. Yeah, it definitely is. I think they're still working out the kinks on that. Plus, there are some glitches still. Like sometimes you have to reset your MetaMask, log out of MetaMask, close all the exchange down, clear your cache, clear your cookies, and then log back into MetaMask.
So I had that same issue with sometimes the first transaction on Pangolin would be stuck, but
yeah,
I actually didn't have to do any of the other steps. I only had to do the reset MetaMask from the advanced settings. That was the only thing that I needed to do. So I don't know if that's been fixed a little bit since then.
No, I mean I tried just doing the reset, but I had to go through the whole
nightmare.
The whole motion.
Well, Matic is not as quick in any way. It's definitely quicker than Ethereum, but it is unbelievably cheap. I think it's $0.00001 for a transaction, which is crazy.
So like a tenth of a cent.
Yeah, less than that. I do think it's less than that. It's really, really crazy.
That's impressive.
Yeah, super impressive.
And you can it's essentially like Uniswap, but you can buy any coin, or is it only coins that are on the Matic network?
Yes, it's the same as same way that Pangolin only supports coins that are pooled on Pangolin. QuickSwap only supports coins that are pooled on QuickSwap. Currently, they're growing. They just ported over.
But they have Ethereum. But they have Ethereum as a base currency, though, right?
They have Ethereum, and they also have Matic, and they also have lots of incentivized quick pools as well. So there's for example, Harvest, we ported over to Matic, and our reward token, the interest-bearing variant of Farm called iFarm, that is now pooled on Matic, but there's a Matic iFarm pool and a quick iFarm pool. These ones are incentivized with liquidity mining with quick. But there are Link and Ethereum pools. There are USDC and Ethereum, USDC and Matic. There's a bunch of pools on there.
But the thing is, I think no matter how much they try, I don't think they're going to make a dent in Uniswap or Sushi Swap. To be quite frank,
I agree
with you. Even 1inch. I mean, 1inch runs on Ethereum. They've been throwing 1inch airdrops at everyone, but people barely even touch 1inch, and that's a decent DEX as well. So.
It's decent, yeah. I think that 1inch will port, and I hope they do. I heard they were going to Binance Smart Chain, but I do hope they go somewhere else because I don't think there's space for them on Ethereum. One thing about Sushi that does worry me, I don't know if you're kind of aware, now that Sushi and Yearn are all part of the same ecosystem. So the thing that these guys do is they have these projects they have a big, on the surface, community governance, right? Decentralized governance, where it's snapshot proposals or similar, and holders of the token can vote in order to push things into being. And the last few times, I mean, for example, Sushi just recently, they posted a governance poll about the vested Sushi rewards being given to selected contract addresses only. And the community basically voted against it. And in implementation, it flipped and they did what they want. So Yearn is similar, but also in my opinion, more insidious, because the top holders of Yearn, they have so much voting power that it is essentially just a whales club, and they choose what happens.
Yeah.
But it's
absolutely,
it's supposed to be decentralized. It's supposed to be community governance. But these things I don't actually think work in any way intended.
No, I agree with you totally on Yearn. It is the definition of a whales club. If the whales don't want something to happen, isn't happening. They have a log on what happens with Yearn for sure.
Yeah, Yearn's going to be an interesting narrative this bull run, I think, because people still back it so much. And I don't know, after that horrendous website update, that was the worst website update I have ever seen back in.
Were you talking about Yearn.finance?
Yes, the one in January was that they did a big rebrand and they made a new website and the new design was just so grim. I don't know if you saw it.
Have they changed it since?
It was like January, maybe February. I'm not too sure.
I haven't been, but yeah, I'm looking at it now, and they've definitely changed it a lot. I mean, it used to be pretty bad anyway.
Yes, no, it
Used
was
to
bad,
have
and then it got worse. But they had like spent millions on it. Apparently, I remember everyone was very excited. And there was all this hype buying, and then it dropped, and we were like, oh my goodness, what have they done? I'm trying to pull it up now to see.
The thing is, I mean, a lot of the things that, like, I honestly believe Andre Cronje is flat out genius, but I also think he is kind of irresponsible in the way he acts as well. Like, I don't think he's necessarily a saint, shall we say. But I think, I mean, the thing that Yearn have kind of teamed up with some rather questionable people in the past, and there've been all the exploits, pickles being done over loads of times.
Cream.
Yeah, Cream, and he keeps calling it the Iron Bank every time he tweets about it. It's the least iron bank I've ever seen in my life. Like, I literally would not touch Cream with a 10-foot pole.
No, nor I. There was an opportunity for some kind of potential cooperation.
And plus the cover, is it cover, the insurance thing that had a bunch of problems as well?
Yeah, isn't that hilarious?
When
the insurance protocol got hacked.
Right, exactly. Because I had a fairly substantial amount of money in a project, fairly big one. I won't name it, but this was after the hack and after they said they got all their stuff sorted out. But I literally couldn't get cover for. They said, "Oh, our cover has reached capacity." I mean, what kind of insurance company reaches capacity? It just didn't make any sense to me. So I was just like,
there's a very good new insurance protocol coming out that both a few projects I'm with are beginning to cooperate with. It's called Unslashed Finance, and it's a very nice website, and they've just sort of launched quite recently.
I went on there. I commented in one of my live streams that I went in there, and I went in the Telegram, because when you go to the website, it says you need a code to get in to the app. So I went into the Telegram group, and I replied to one of the admins. I was like, "Hey, can I get a reference code so I can get in your app to have a look around?" And then I got bombarded with like 10 DMs from like random people with codes, and I was like, "Oh my god, this is like super sketchy, yo." I was like, because I don't know what me putting the code in is going to do, and if I connect my MetaMask to it. So I mean,
did you do it in the end?
I put my MetaMask onto an address that I literally have never used, and went in.
Okay, so I'm going to send you my code now. And basically what happens is the code...
So how does it work? Is the code like a referral link or something?
Essentially, yes.
Because
you give the code and you connect your wallet, and when you want to supply capital for insurance purposes, which you get rewarded for in terms of APY, and I think also in the governance token, whatever you supply has a bearing on how much your referrer gets rewarded for the referral.
I see, because I noticed that it must have been incentivized some way, because for a good hour I was getting bombarded with all these random Telegram people hitting me up.
Did they know you were Crypto Frog, or did they think you were someone else?
Well, I mean, I think I've got CF202, and I think I have my same profile picture as Twitter.
Okay, so yeah, I'm not surprised at all.
But yeah, so it's incentivized then.
Yes, it is incentivized.
But all it is basically a code to let you in. But why do they even need a code? Is it just to? I mean,
I think it's a marketing thing. I think in many ways, referral codes are just a marketing thing. They say it's to keep things, contained for the opening stages and to give special access to people that care about the ecosystem or whatever. But I think it's just a marketing thing whereby if you give it to someone and they deposit lots of money, you get extra rewards. So it incentivizes you to go out there and tell people to join the platform.
Right.
In general, I think referral codes tend to function like that.
I'll take another look at it then. Maybe after this conversation, you can send me your code and I'll have a look.
I will do so.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right. Well, I think my junior frogs are going to come through the door any minute now, so perhaps we'll have to wrap it up.
Yeah, let's do that. Well, I would love to have you on next time to have a real good conversation about NFTs because I know that you're super deep in that scene, and I didn't want to limit ourselves. But for next time.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay. Well, thank you very much, Mr. Frog, and I hope you enjoy the rest of your weekend.
You too. Thank you.
Bye-bye.